Alright, today's going to be a nice and simple video. We're in the NU tier today, trying out Assault Vest Snorlax. Now Assault Vest Snorlax is a really bulky Pokemon, at least on the SPDF side, and it can take on the mon that's currently being suspect tested, which is Dragalge. Dragalge may be able to beat Snorlax with the regular Curse Talk set, and it would have to hit Focus Blast to do that, or maybe get lucky with some Dracos, get the Snorlax whittled a bit. But Assault Vest Snorlax is pretty bulky and will shrug off anything that Dragalge throws at it. So I think that's a really interesting option for Snorlax. I usually like to run different sets on Snorlax, but one of them that I do like to run is the Assault Vest set, just leveraging that immense special bulk. And Snorlax has a lot of moves that it wants to run, right? You never know which 4 moves you need. Do you need Darkest Lariat to hit Ghosts? Do you need Earthquake to hit Steels? Do you need Heat Crash to hit Steels plus Grass types? In this tier specifically, something like Vileplume. Heavy Slam is also nice for Deances specifically. So you have so many different moves you can run, and so since you're spoiled for choice, you might as well run an Assault Vest and just always be clicking the button. Now this set is max HP, max SPDF, and because Snorlax is not that strong, you have to make sure that your opponents don't set up on you, so you gotta watch out for that. But besides that, this can eat things for days. Now, if I'm gonna run an Assault Vest set, one of the few ways to get around that is that you whittle me down over time. So by having a Wish support member, I can circumvent that and give Snorlax some form of recovery. So I'm running a Vaporeon with Wish Protect, Scald, and the last move is actually going to be Toxic on this Vaporeon. I like to have the ability to run Toxic so that my Vaporeon isn't quite so passive, and this will aid the Snorlax as well as being really good at being physically defensive. This is whatever spread this is supposed to do. This is just the standard one that you get. Decidueye, we're running a Life Orb set here. I almost wanted to put Defog on Decidueye, but I decided not to do that, because all 4 moves are really nice on Decidueye and I couldn't give up a single one. I want Sword Stance for that breaking power. Additionally, it's really just good to make that Shadow Sneak actually matter, and I don't want to forego that. And then you can't get rid of any of the other moves, they're all too important. So couldn't fit Defog on this set. Deancie is up next. Deancie is really good for dealing with Pokemon like Talonflame and other flying types that might mess up Decidueye and Snorlax, especially things like Braviary, which would have superpower as well, right? And if we look through the tier, Deancie, I mean, I guess it helps with Arcanine, but I have a Vaporeon right there, I'm not too worried about it. Deancie will help to some degree. Let's see, what else was it here for? I feel like I had it on here for a reason besides Talonflame, but I know that Talonflame was the one I was thinking of primarily when I put it on this team. It might have just been there for Talonflame, frankly. It's also here for Stealth Rock support. And finally, you'll notice that Deancie also gives the Heal Bell. And Heal Bell is really nice because we took it off of Vaporeon, and so we don't want our Vaporeon getting too chipped down. So having Heal Bell on this, and then we have the ability to run Toxic on Vaporeon, I think is really nice and has pretty good synergy. We're going without Moonblast today, sort of sad, but what are you going to do? Heliolisk is our Blastoise check, as well as being hecka fast. This is the Choice Scarf version of Heliolisk, and while it's not as strong as maybe Choice Specs or Life Orb or Magnet even maybe, it's just nice to be able to outrun everything. Now, unfortunately, we will be locked in, so if we recall back to the circuitry in one of the previous videos, the circuitry there was able to make use of not being locked in to bait ground types in and then kill them with Grass Knot. Heliolisk, however, one is far weaker than circuitry, so we have to keep that in mind. And also, number 2, we just really need a Blastoise check on this team. Even though we do have Snorlax, I still want something that's going to outspeed it. And this also outspeeds just about everything else in the tier. So I actually don't mind Choice Scarf Heliolisk. Finally, we've got Talonflame on here. Talonflame is foregoing having Will-O-Wisp for having Defog. Pretty important, and we'll just have to get our burns with Flame Body. Anyway, that's the team. I'm hoping that it puts in a lot of work. Actually, I know that it put in a lot of work because I already played my games. But yeah, let's get into it. All right. And off to the side, we can see up here in the top right, the Dragalge is currently being suspected. Like I said earlier, that's why we're running Assault Vest Snorlax. Unfortunately, no running into Dragalge on this team, but eventually maybe we'll run into Dragalge and show that Snorlax can do something. However, not with this team. Now this is a bird spam team. Only Claydol is not a bird. And looking at my team and looking at Heliolisk, I see, wow, Heliolisk has a pretty good time here. It doesn't like Decidueye, and it doesn't like Claydol, but aside from that, it really just volt switches on everything. Now, I look at that and I say, okay, if I were my opponent, I would be scared of the Heliolisk, and rightfully so. So, I would lead off with Claydol. And so that's what we're going to see. My opponent is going to lead off with said Claydol. I'm going to lead off with Decidueye, and for some reason, they just stay in, don't care at all about having their Claydol gone to Decidueye. I think that was a really poor play on their part. They needed this to stop Volt Switch spam. So they just threw it away turn 1. And they really didn't have a good switch in, to be fair to Spirit Shackle. They also don't know what set I am yet. I could have been Choice Banded, and the only thing that could have switched in would have been Braviary. Personally, I think actually Braviary would have been a quite good switch in, because it would have taken the Ghost type moves and it would resisted the Leaf Blade or the Giga Drain or Leaf Storm even. So I think Braviary would have been a good switch in, but they sacked their Claydol, and that's sad for them. Now they're going to go Talonflame. I'm going to go Diancie. That's why it's here. No reason to sack my own Owl. And here we're going to get up Stealth Rock because there's absolutely no way to go into Xatu, and they don't. So now Decidueye, I'm going to go into Talonflame, see what's up. Turns out it's a special set actually, so I'm going to switch out here. Or actually no, I'm going to Brave Bird, because I feel like a Brave Bird against a fighting type, against a grass type, and against 3 other flying types, he doesn't really have any good switch-ins. I could have gone Snorlax there, but we didn't, because I just figured Brave Bird, easy click on the Decidueye. And he goes Xatu here, and I'm actually able to 2-hit KO it with Brave Bird. But I'm getting pretty low, which is sort of sad because this was a pretty powerful Pokemon. I'm going to go Vaporeon here. Vaporeon is good defensively, but it doesn't do well against Decidueye, and it does really well against Talonflame. So even though I sort of want to keep it in the back for Braviary, and then to a lesser extent Surfetched, might as well get off some offensive presence, because I am a water type, you are a fire type, and look at your Scald Switch, and you don't have a Scald Switch in, aside from Decidueye, which is, you know, if it gets burned, that's sad for it still. And they are going to go Decidueye, and I'm going to click Scald. And at this point, I know that it is a special attacker, so I'm going to go into my Snorlax. Here, you figure, okay, look at how much damage you did. I'm going to predict you to switch out into your Surfetched or something, but they do not. This turn, I go for Heat Crash because I say, okay, well, I guess they're going to stay in, and now they go Surfetched. So this guy clearly just clicking buttons. First Impression does a healthy chunk, and I'm just going to throw this away at this point. I don't need it because you've got all birds left, and Decidueye doesn't do anything. Shadow Sneak would have been okay, I guess, but that's about it. Here, I'm going to easily click Volt Switch, nice and safe play. Don't want to stay in because Decidueye coming in is pretty obvious. And here, I'm going to actually Roost because I want to get my Talonflame to the point where it can actually get a Brave Bird off and not die in return. And Talonflame coming in is not a threat. Diancie will come in and threaten anything on his team. Nothing wants to take a Diamond Storm. And so Diamond Storm is going to come out now. And Decidueye is actually going to take quite a bit of damage. At this point, however, we're going to go Snorlax, no reason to stay in. And I believe this Decidueye's Overgrow is doing quite a lot of damage compared to how it was originally. I'm still going to predict him to switch out. Last time he switched on turn 2. This time he did not. So now I'm going to click Heat Crash because I guess he's just thinking that I'm not going to be able to kill him, but I do kill him. So now he's sacked his Decidueye, and at this point we can see that really my Heliolisk just cleans up. I'm actually going to predict him to try to get his own roost off and click Earthquake here. So now he's forced to kill me, and I can go Heliolisk for free. And I'm just going to click Volt Switch again because I cannot kill Surfetched from full. I don't want to be locked in here. He's going to go Braviary, which, fair enough. I go DNC. DNC beats this to some degree, but does not beat Surfetched really. So I might as well bring it in on this. Maybe a quick substitute. I don't know what he's planning on stalling me out with. Diamond Storm is going to boost my defenses. That's going to cause a problem for you. Here he goes hard Surfetched as if I were going to click anything else. And here we actually see that the DNC outspeeds, which I don't know how I feel about that. That means his Surfetched was uninvested in speed, and that probably is not really a good idea. Now here he's going to substitute a couple more times. Try to be annoying, but not going to do anything. And in the end, we'll win that one. So a pretty easy win. My opponent should not have thrown away his Claydol, but we were able to see the Snorlax put in some amount of work against the Decidueye, eating multiple Giga Drains. I think that might have been choice specs or something, I don't even know. Quite strong, but in the end we were able to easily kill it off with Heat Crash. Alright, now for the second game. In the second game, if I look at my team, I look at my opponent's team, what does he have for Decidueye? Heliolisk doesn't really do too much to Decidueye because Hyper Voice does nothing, Thunderbolt is resisted, Grass Knot, Surf doesn't have anything for Decidueye. Golurk could be Choice Scarf, and I do have to take that into consideration, but Golurk is a problem for this team generally, and so there has to be a bit of prediction there. Starmie could have Ice Beam, but that's about as far as that goes in terms of being a problem. And then Copperajah and Mudsteel both are tanky. Copperajah can have Heat Crash, and so that's an issue, but I have Vaporeon, and so I'm not too concerned about that, and Mudsteel literally can't do anything against my Decidueye. Finally, he's got Surfetched, and Surfetched could be an issue, but I do have Talonflame right there to try to get the burn off. And, he may just lead off with his Mudsteel, try to get up Stealth Rock, and hope that I lead off with my Heliolisk or something to get a Mindless Volt Switch off, and then he can block that. So, I decided to lead off with my Decidueye because it fares very well against my opponent's team. As it turns out, he leads off with Mudsteel. I get off a free Swords Dance here. He actually stays in to get up his Stealth Rock. And so now I can just click Leaf Blade. He has nothing for Leaf Blade on my team, or on his team. I get a crit with Leaf Blade, which doesn't really matter because if he had stayed in, I could have Spirit Shackled in the subsequent turn. If he had gone Heliolisk, that would have been a dangerous play because I could have Leaf Bladed again. So he was in range of Spirit Shackle either way. Maybe having the crit made him more likely to stay in just to sack it off. I'm not exactly sure, but ultimately I don't think it's that big of a deal, and he's the one that put himself in that position by staying in with Mudsteel and letting me set up. Anyway, now it goes into Surfetched, and if you roll over, this is 262, this is 251, but will I kill it, and is it going to kill me with knockoff? I don't know. I'd rather just go into Talonflame, not have to worry about that. I don't have Brave Bird on my Decidueye, so I can get this defog off so I can come back in. Golurk can have Stone Edge, so I go DNC. I don't think he's going to Earthquake, right? Because I'm a Talonflame, and I can get a Will-O-Wisp off with no guard. So he's not going to Earthquake. Poltergeist, he can't Poltergeist my Talonflame because it was just knocked off, and so I feel like he's going to go for Stone Edge. And if he's Choice Band Stone Edge, DNC can come in and get up Stealth Rock. It can Diamond Storm or whatever it wants to do because he's not going to be doing too much. And I don't really need DNC for anything on this team, right? It doesn't beat Starmie. It doesn't really beat Heliolisk that well. It does not beat Mudsteel, and it doesn't really do that well against Surfetched without Moonblast. So might as well use it for the Golurk. That was what I was thinking. Turns out the Golurk is Shadow Punch though. It's one of the puncher sets, which is really suboptimal and should not be ran, even though it was what it used to run for a long time. Not anymore. Now it's got Poltergeist. That's what it should be going with. Here I'm going to go into Decidueye because I feel like Mudsteel is pretty obvious. Once again, my opponent sets up Stealth Rock. What does that get you? Well, it gets you a dead Heliolisk. I think maybe he thought I was going to go for Ghost move that time, but now he lost his fastest mon. And now he's going to go Surfetched. I'm going to try to get a burn again. And I actually do get the burn. So good job, Talonflame. Surfetched is neutered, and really he has no offensive presence at this point. I'm actually going to set up Stealth Rock here, because I do not care. And turns out my DNC is faster than his Surfetched, which I was not expecting. This is once again a very slow Surfetched. Probably like max HP, max attack or something. Maybe that's what the team builder gives as a default. Here, I'm going to go for Scald. No reason to predict. The Starmie, I know that the Starmie is not a threat because I have that Assault Vest Snorlax in the back. Here he goes for Rapid Spin. Here I make a bit of a misplay because I feel like he's going to switch, and I go Decidueye, and he actually Meteor Beams and misses. So that's very lucky on my part, I'm not going to lie. Here he Psychics though and does not kill, and I'm able to kill him with Leaf Blade. So I get out fairly safely here. I know I'm going to outspeed the Surfetched, and I'm just going to get off damage, because at this point, even though Decidueye is good, I don't really care. I'm just done with this game. Here I'm going to go to Heliolisk, and I calc the Grass Knot does kill Surfetched, so I can Grass Knot. Grass Knot actually does quite a bit. I was surprised. I need a bit of chip on the Golurk to ensure a KO, so I'm going to sack the Snorlax because it doesn't do anything except for gives stamina boosts to Mudsteel. And at this point, Scald actually is just going to win this game. Mudsteel is going to come in, gets burned. Even if it didn't, it does not matter, because Vaporeon has Wish Protect and Mudsteel is not that powerful. Here, another Scald. He's now at +2 defense. You can see Stomping Tantrum does nothing. I would have taken 24 without the burn, not doing any damage. Mudsteel is dead, and he's going to go back into Golurk. So effectively, he actually got off no damage after he switched out the Golurk. I outspeed the Golurk as well, which I don't know how I feel about that. He gets Drain Punch damage off. That is the one advantage of the Iron Fist Golurk, I guess. But it doesn't even to a KO the Vaporeon. And I'm able to finish it off with Scald. So in this game, Snorlax didn't do too much. It could have eaten the Meteor Beam from Starmie, but that's about it. But the rest of the team definitely put in work, right? The Talonflame got his burn off. The Vaporeon did a lot. And the Decidueye just completely wrecked this opponent because he kept on leaving his Mudsteel in. But hey, we take those. Alright, time for the final game. So in this game, I look at my team, look at my opponent's team. That's the running theme of today's video. Look at my team, look at my opponent's team. He has no ground type, no Volt Switch immunity. So Heliolisk is going to have a field day. He has absolutely nothing that will outspeed this, so I can just lead off with Heliolisk. What's better is that he even has an Araquanid, which he's almost assuredly going to lead off with, try to get off Sticky Webs, so I can actually go Revolt Switch, which won't kill, because Araquanid has good Spadef, and I am Choice Scarfed, which is pretty weak, and go into my Talonflame, because it's not going to Liquidation a dry skin Pokemon, and then get off a Defog or Brave Bird or do whatever I want. So it's a very straightforward game plan at the beginning. Even if for whatever reason they don't lead off with Araquanid, Heliolisk has no answers on their team. So pretty straightforward. They do lead off with Araquanid. I lead off with my Heliolisk, get the Volt Switch off, and just as I predicted, they go for Sticky Web, they do not Liquidation. And now I know that they would Liquidation here, so I'm going to Brave Bird, not messing around with that. I can defog on whatever else comes out. Even if they went into Prankster, Whimsicott, what do I care? I'll just then be Prankster locked into Brave Bird and kill them. Now, they've set up an Agility, which would be scary, especially now they've got the crit set going. But look at Snorlax. Look at how little it took. That was a crit from a Kingdra, and they do get a miss here, which, you know, I won't lie, I got lucky there. But we can see that Snorlax actually beats Kingdra 1v1, which is pretty nuts. I could have just gone Decidueye and Shadow Sneaked after, so it's not a big of a deal. Here they go Copperage. I don't care about this. If I get a Scald Burn, Power Whip's not going to do anything. And as we see, Power Whip does not do that much. So I'm actually out of range of the normal damage. If they crit me here, that would be a problem. They miss. Unless they crit me, that did not matter, because I would have just protected after. Here I predict them to maybe want to predict my Protect. Bit of a risky play because they could have crit me. But, you know, just feeling out my opponents, seeing what they want to do. They could have gone Whimsicott at any point this time. Whimsicott would have completely shut me down. I couldn't have done that much against it. They would have Encore locked me into whatever move they wanted to. or gone for Giga Drain or Leech Seed or any number of things, but instead my opponent decides to lead in Copperajah. So I don't really know what they wanted to do with Copperajah at this point, but even if your Pokemon can't do something because they're really weak for whatever reason, if you can see you're not making headway, you can always save this as death fodder even in the late game, right? Maybe this would be good for Talonflame if you had Rock Slide, for instance. It still could have had a purpose, and you have such a good Pokemon to counter me with, which is Whimsicott. Here, I actually find out that Scald from Vaporeon does not break Braviary's substitute. This is a problem. Here I go into Heliolisk, and I'm going to Volt Switch out, because I know this is going to be the sub-bulk upset. And I don't want to take a Superpower or Crush Claw, whatever the heck this has. Here he's going to substitute again. I know Snorlax isn't going to do anything to this substitute, so I'm going to go back into Heliolisk. And I don't want him to keep setting up and playing this game, so I'm actually going to stay in, and I'm going to stack my Heliolisk. Click the Thunderbolt to make sure that they don't have a sub up. And this is actually okay because they're down to half health. That's about as good as you can get a Pokemon like this in terms of health. He'll actually even take a bit more because he's got Brave Bird. So now I get to go into Diancie. Diancie is pretty powerful because Diamond Storm will boost your defenses without having to worry about anything. And Diancie doesn't do too much against the rest of this team. So at this point, I'm just going to leave it in. It actually tanks a Scald from Starmie. I don't get burned, which is lucky, but ultimately, this isn't the Pokemon that matters. The Pokemon that matters is going to be Decidueye. Decidueye is going to come out. Here he clicks Rapid Spin. That must have been a misclick or something. I'm going to click Spirit Shackle just because it's neutral against Whimsicott, and I don't want to get locked into Leaf Blade. And I'm going to click Spirit Shackle again, and the Spirit Shackle into Shadow Sneak is going to kill the Whimsicott. So this guy's team could have been scary, right? The Sticky Web would have been annoying with the sub-bulk up Braviary, would have been really annoying with the Kritra set. Don't know why he has Agility plus Sticky Web. That's a little bit funny, but you know there are enough flying types in the tier that maybe that is useful for it. And mostly you want to be clicking Draco Meteor with Kritra anyway. And Starmie with Sticky Web is pretty scary as well for a lot of Mons, but we had a lot of guys on our team that were able to check things. So in this game, Snorlax didn't do too much, but that's because they didn't really have much in the way of special attackers. Oh, actually, I lied. No, Snorlax did a lot. I forgot. Kritra. That's what beat it. So yeah, Snorlax ate 2 crit Draco Meteors from Kingdra, and I was able to get 1 dodge. Again, the dodge only sort of mattered because I could have gone into Decidueye after and Shadow Sneaked it to take it out at the range it was at, I believe. And so the dodge only mattered insofar that I got an extra sack. So overall, I think this team actually turned out really well. I think this team is fairly strong. Snorlax, of course, is fairly weak, and Choice Scarf Heliolisk is weaker than other options you have for Heliolisk, so you have to watch out for that. It's a bit of a more balanced team, so you have to be careful about running into super offensive teams. But that being said, I think it actually performed fairly well, and I would recommend using this team personally. So let me know what you guys thought about today's video. I will be bringing you more NU videos in the future as I come up with ideas. See you later.